you tired of being ghosted after a job interview or submitting your resume for a job post? Are you looking to improve your chances in order to get hired? Well, in this video, I'm going to give you all of my feedback as a hiring manager for instructional designers and learning experience designers. Hey friends, my name is Vanessa, the founder and CEO of Anchored Training. And on this channel, we help instructional designers and e-learning developers get off of those sidelines and get into the L&D game. So at Anchored Training, we do a lot of hiring, and we actually hire a lot of people on a more rolling basis. So what we have on our website, so when you go to our website and you click on join our team, it gives you more of an idea of the different roles that we hire for. Instructional designers, project managers, QC specialists, e-learning developers, all the things. However, those roles are contractor 1099 roles, project-based roles. So we take those into a contractor pool, and as needs come up, as clients say like, hey, I need an instructional designer for this, or hey, I need a kick-ass Rise developer, or hey, I need an Eagle Eye QC specialist for this. That's where we go to the pool and see, hey, who's applied and who can we pull in who may be the right fit for the role. Sometimes we will interview and just try to get some more information, some more background on you. I like to say it's like matchmaking when you're in staff fog. You have to figure out the right fit between your skill set as a designer or developer, as well as what the customer is looking for. You know, I'll know things about the customer that, you know, I want to be mindful of who I am tying them to, right? Or who I'm hiring for their role, and making sure like, yeah, it's going to be a perfect match. Just call me like the instructional designer matchmaker. That's the rolling basis that we hire for. However, we also bring on full-time instructional designers. So we hired one back in August, and we're in the middle of looking for another learning experience designer that we could bring in full-time. Been on Indeed or LinkedIn, you may have seen the post. I'm going to just pop up the post here so you can see a little bit more of what we're looking for. We are looking for someone that has more of that marketing mindset, that is not going to provide the same recommendation to every single customer. We really thrive in, you know, looking at what is working outside and how we can apply that to learning and development, and really think about how we are truly engaging our learners. Looking for someone that can be customer facing, that can be client facing without me having to be there, and looking for someone that has that background in many different organizations, many different corporate organizations, so that they can pull in past experiences when they are consulting. We clearly lay out in the post, like, this particular role is not for transitioning teachers. Not saying that there may not be a role in the future for someone that's more transitioning, but this particular role, we need someone that has been, for lack of a better phrase right now, around the block a few times with a few different corporate clients, because we're very big on knowing how to read the room and knowing how to really understand kind of what the unspoken things of what is being said in order to help your customer. We have not found that person yet. We are still in the process of hiring. So my first reason why you might not be getting the role is that you're not telling a story with your resume. Many times, many resumes will share a lot of like task-oriented things, like I did this, I worked with subject matter experts to develop this type of material, I managed the Cornerstone LMS, I developed software training using Articulate Storyline. That's awesome. However, in certain levels, I'm really looking for more of a story. Because you were there, because you did that work, like, what was the outcome of that work? Like, yeah, you created storyline courses, but like, were people more engaged? Like, do you have any of that sort of data? Those sorts of things are really helpful when you're looking at a sea of resumes. And I think from all the different sources, I got over 500, and I'm literally reading every single one. This for cover letters, portfolios, I'm looking at every single one of these pieces because I just don't want to miss one. If it looks generic enough that it looks like you went to Google and you like searched for a sample instructional designer resume, it's not going to give me enough out of the sea of 500 to give you that call necessarily. It might, you know, depending on like the keywords and some of the other things, but you really want to start to tell a story. Start to tell a story of like your journey in your job career. Somehow on some resumes, we've lost achievements, and you have them, right? So I want to see more of that, you know, want to know more about you. And like those types of things are not things that you're seeing in resumes. So if you can put those into your resume, you'll start to bump up higher on that list because you're able to see more of that glimpse of like, okay, if I hire, you know, Susie Q, these are some of the achievements that she, you know, was able to achieve. Drink every time I say achievements. Don't do that. You will die. Make sure that you're telling a story with your resume. So really look at less of the tasks and more of the outcomes because of those tasks. The second reason is you're not pulling any keywords from the job post into your resume. A lot of people, they are scanning your resume and like, I'm reading them, and I have instructional design background. So I know like you said this word, but you meant this. At a lot of organizations, especially bigger ones, the hiring manager or someone from the L&D department is likely not screening your resume. It is probably some sort of recruiter, whether internal or external. They are literally looking at the job post, looking at your resume, and trying to match keywords. So if you're not doing those things, then there is a very good chance you're missing out on opportunities you actually would be perfect for. The keywords didn't line up, right? And someone just kind of scanned you out. It's unfortunate. It's a large organization. The L&D team cannot be the one that screens all of these resumes. So therefore they're relying on their recruiters. We both have to do our parts. I am big on like leaving nothing to chance and putting everything on the table when I am applying for a job, applying for a role, putting a proposal in for a potential client or a current client of mine. Everything gets put out on that paper, like my best foot forward. You don't even need to meet with me. Like I put in front of you, like my heart and my soul. Doesn't mean that you have to do that for every job, but if you see something that is like your dream job, put your heart and soul into it. Take the time to update your resume and pull in those keywords. Do not leave anything up to chance or anything up to someone else that's a recruiter to just scan through your resume and go on to the next one. So the third reason I believe you probably are being ghosted from job postings is you're utilizing automations in Indeed. That means you are missing out on key things in the job post. I mentioned earlier, I ask for a cover letter. This is like a spicy take. Some people hate it, some people, love it. When you're looking at 500 resumes, it's hard to decipher. I myself as a small business owner cannot meet with 490 people. So we have to start to make cuts. Still, you can dwindle it down to like 200, 250, 100. And like, it's really hard to get through that many people. So having that cover letter is so helpful. I also want to work with other humans that I know are going to be passionate and be the right fit for our organization, right? I'm looking for people that, want to grow with the org, that have growth mindset, have an abundant mindset, right? And are looking to put that into, working with our customers and helping us grow the business and things like that. Like, this is a small business. I'm trying to grow huge. So that cover letter means the world to me. Because people are utilizing the automations, it stinks because you're missing out on like keywords. And I have noticed in other job posts, like people will say like, if you are going to apply to this job, send an email to the, whatever the inbox is and write the word elephant in the email so we know that you like actually read the job post. Organizations are noticing that. If I like your resume and you did not provide a cover letter or your portfolio, like that's another piece that is part of, one of the things that I ask for, right? So like, let's take cover letter out. Like I ask for a portfolio. As an instructional designer, you need to have a portfolio. Point blank, period. That should be on your resume. People leave it off of their resume all the time, or they don't have one, which is a different point. You will get screened out. Other organizations will look at that and say, well, they did not completely read the job post. They're just automatically getting screened out. I actually went and asked and said, hey, can I have this information that I asked for in the job post? A lot of organizations are not going to do that and not going to take that time. While I understand the efficiency of utilizing the automations on Indeed, I want you to think about that strategically. You're not able to pull in keywords. You're not able to personalize. You can possibly miss things that they are requesting because you're just automatically utilizing that keyword. Also, you are now applying to jobs that may not be the right fit for you, or you may not want to work at that organization because it just doesn't align with like your values or anything like that. Just be aware of all of those things as you are utilizing those automations. That could be a reason. Here's the fourth reason. Some roles just need more of a specialized skill in person. It is nothing personal. That's just what they're looking for. For example, for me, I'm looking for someone with more of that eye for marketing and social media, and that can really build that relationship with the client. You're not talking about like how you build relationships, or you're not, utilizing the cover letter and talking about like your mindset on, marketing and how could it apply to, learning and development, then there's a chance that I might not call you back. Really think about like really reading the job post and saying like, this is the type of person that they're looking for. This is what they're literally saying is super important. Let me highlight that in my resume. Then think to my past experience, right? Like, are there ways that I collaborated with the marketing team, or I was able to bring in this style of e-learning because it, resembled the carousel feature. So really looking at what are they asking for in that type of person. So again, nothing personal. It just might be that your skill set doesn't exactly match what they need. So the next reason that you might be ghosted and you might not hear is giving feedback when you are not sure if someone is open to receiving it isn't really something many feel comfortable doing. So you may get, screened out or something like that, or you may apply and then you might not hear back. It can sometimes feel uncomfortable to share like the feedback. And I think I'm someone that's like, I would want that feedback, right? If you are expecting feedback, I think that you need to ask for it. So whenever, I get from a customer, a potential customer, I should say, Vanessa, we're not moving forward at this time. I asked, I said, hey, can I have some feedback? Just so that way I can like grow and improve and just, know more about, where I'm landing in terms of like our presentation and things like that. Sometimes I'll get the feedback, sometimes I won't. It is what it is. They honestly don't owe it to me to provide me feedback. So I try not to take it personally. So I implore you to do the same thing. Feedback is great and it definitely can help. Here's the other thing. You also need to be mindful of who's providing that feedback. Like maybe they're giving you their feedback just like isn't actually valid, and it just, they had a bad day and so that influenced your interview. So they may have thought that the interview didn't go well and you just weren't the right fit when it was really their bad day that influenced your interview. If you want the feedback, ask for it, but don't expect it. Instead, what I would do is take the job description and your resume and cover letter, or whatever you provided, and I would share that with a mentor, a colleague, a peer, a coach, someone that can give you that honest feedback. Here's my caveat to that though. Don't ask your mom or, your grandmother to provide you that feedback. They love you so much. They do, like, unless they're going to give you like that real honest feedback, they're not going to give you the feedback that you honestly need in order to get better. Ask someone that's going to give you the real deal and be direct, kind, but direct. I would rather honestly know, like, you know what, Vanessa, they asked for this. It was they really made a big deal out of it, and I don't see that reflected in your resume. Fair. Okay. I would take that path as opposed to demanding feedback from, your potential employer, the person that you interviewed with. And just know that you may not always get feedback. And sometimes it just, there was just someone else. Like there's been many times that I've applied to jobs or I've, provided proposals and I'm like, can you give me feedback? And they were like, honestly, you were our next pick. It was a really hard choice. We just went with this other person because of this. So it's hard to hear, but sometimes that's literally all that it is. Like you were just as good and could have fit that role. Just the other person had a slight edge in some other area that they valued. And here's my other caveat about asking people for feedback. I would also be aware of who you ask and ask someone who's been in a position of hiring someone else. And the reason for that is that if you have not had the experience of hiring someone and going through the interview process, it's just a really different mindset than, just being the person that's, always applied for the job or like been, in the interview seat. So you want to ask people that have the experience of actually hiring someone. You don't want to make it a like commiserating session where you're just gonna like get down and hate on whoever it is that didn't hire you. Have that moment, like that's a very natural human emotion. But I find that like when I stick with people that, or like I have these conversations and we're just like constantly like hanging out in the negative and like constantly like bashing the org or bashing someone else, like it doesn't actually ever lead to anything productive. And I am never in a place where I'm like in a higher vibration to receive and to move forward and to like go beyond it, like really go after what I want, I really find myself like constantly stuck in like that ickiness and like that mud. When I'm living in that higher vibration mode where I just like let that ish roll off my back, I receive so much more, and like that next blessing is just like even more incredible. If you didn't get it, like there's probably something better, something out there that's better for you. So keep living in that higher vibration, keep like that abundant mindset, and stay above that. The other thing that I am seeing in a lot of resumes is rise only portfolio. So this is very specific feedback, right? A lot of job posts, it will say like, you know, articulate storyline, Camtasia, rise, you know, whatever. Unfortunately, if I look at your resume and I only see rise, I'm going to assume that you don't have the expertise to build like a full storyline module or a full Camtasia, you know, video or something like that. And if that's really a requirement and like one of the required skills, having just all rise, and then I'm looking at someone that has a mixture, I'm going to go for the person that has more of that mixture. So really look at your resume and say, is it varied enough, right? If you're going to be a kick-ass rise developer and that's the only type of work in that niche, that specialization that you want to be in, keep the rise stuff in there. Do it. But however, if you're positioning yourself as like a kick-ass e-learning developer or video developer, I'm going to need to see more than just rise. Rise is easy. You can get a lot done quickly. It can feel like you just kind of slapped the cover letter together as opposed to really taking the time to have a couple of different pieces. You don't need a ton, like a huge course to be part of your portfolio if you want to do a storyline module. 3-5 slides, that's all you need. Take the time to develop that, you know, 3 to 5 slides and incorporate that. And don't bury that into your rise course. Make it a separate piece, because if someone is looking at your portfolio and they only see rise, they may not ever see that storyline block that you have in there, and you have what they're looking for. You buried it. You buried the lead, right? So take that out and make sure it's showcased, right? If you want more information about portfolios, I will link my video up here all about how to maximize your portfolio. And I want you to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, but because my 100th video that is coming very soon is going to be all about portfolios, because that was my first video and I love a good theme situation and I love bringing it back. So make sure you're subscribed to catch that one. Here's the other one. And this is a big one for me. It's not you, it's them. I'm going to say that again. It's not you, it is them. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's not you, it's honestly me. We get busy. It's no excuse, but it's a reality and it's a fact. And it's not with any like malintent that you get ghosted or like, you know, something doesn't come back. It can just sometimes happen. Look at me. I told you that I've been interviewing since December. I have to go back and like, you know, go through all of the resumes again. I had to stop at one point and kind of take a slow down and a pause, because I got so many resumes and there was just something missing. So I had to like tweak something in it. I wanted to go back and re-review all of those resumes with the lens, with like a different lens. And then in between that, right, while I was like in the middle of doing that, my kid ended up in the hospital for a few days. Not an excuse. However, life happens. Because someone doesn't like give you feedback, it means truly like nothing on you, and they don't truly mean to. Unfortunately, they just, you know, something I'm sure happened. I like to come at things from like a place of like good intention first, right? So like this is how I live my life. Good intention first. I'm gonna assume that your intention was good and you didn't actually mean any harm. If it's a pattern of behavior, then I'm gonna have a conversation to say, hey, you might have a blind spot to this. So like, here's just some, you know, are you open to receiving feedback? Yes, great. Here is some feedback. I know how hard going through the job interview process can be. Your girl graduated during the economic crash of 2008. It was really hard to find any sort of job, and I commend anybody that's going through the job hunt, you know, especially now. But know that we need to give grace to everyone. And just like, you know, I know that there are people that have, you know, asked to move their interview or like things have changed. Like everyone should be giving grace to everybody. It does not matter. Like no one is better, above. Nobody's time is more valuable than another person. Let's all give each other grace, because if we come from a place of kindness and we can live in that place of kindness, we will earn so much more. We will be much happier. When we look at things and we're constantly getting down on ourselves and constantly getting down about like the place, like what's happening around us, you continuously breed negativity, and then like more negativity is attracted to you. And I'm just gonna say it, Everyone messes up every once in a while. No one's perfect. People are trying. Don't be afraid to think outside the box when it comes to learning and development if you're not finding success applying for instructional designer jobs. So I know there's a lot of transitioning teachers that are looking for a job. There are other ways to get into learning and development than applying for an instructional designer role. One that probably is going to be easier for you to get in the door. So try that. And then you can learn more about the background, learn more about the people, offer to support on other projects and start to build up your resume from there. That gets you out of the classroom and into the L&D space. It might not be the golden instructional designer job, which, like, by the way, I love being an instructional designer, but like also not like all rainbows, butterflies, and unicorns and all that ish. So just know that you can find like a different way in. So don't get down on yourself either. I can't say this for certain, but I'm sure that for some of you, like, I'm sure I would too. I would apply when something sudden has changed in my life, right? So like suddenly there is a layoff. Knowing myself, my next step would be to go and apply for a job. Take a moment, breathe. Don't scramble to update your resume. Take that time that you need in order to update it appropriately. Update it to, again, tell your stories. Update it to share more about like the true achievements that you were able to overcome, or that you were able to achieve. This is why I share advice that you should be journaling weekly, monthly, quarterly to review what you were able to accomplish, all about work, the stories that you were part of, the things that you were able to achieve, because this is going to all help you in your job interviews. This is going to be all the things that you're going to then pull into your resume. So once you have these things written down, number one, like, you're going to go and read this in a time of struggle and be like, damn, I effing did that. Hell yeah. Like, I am good at my job. This layoff has nothing to do with me. And I'm going to go and kill it on the next one. And it gives you that sense of confidence to go land that next job. Take that time to journal and reflect, and take that time to breathe. Don't apply flusteredly. Really take that time to craft the appropriate resume for that next job that you are looking to achieve. Because maybe the role that you were in wasn't the one that you honestly wanted to be in. You don't have to stick to that role. You can take the time to craft the right resume to gear you up for that next role, that next level for yourself. If you like this video, again, make sure you subscribe. We're going to be talking all about resumes and cover letters and getting the job and portfolios and all the things all month here on the Vanessa Anchored channel. And if you are interested in, connecting with others, having more of that place, that community to vent and share, as well as that community to help build you up, where we talk about like all of the woo and like the abundance, and we're there for each other and we're accountable, and we're like, hey, you said, Susie Q, you were going to do this on this day. That isn't done. Let's talk about why. How can we help you get there? If you want to do that, if you want to learn, share, grow, learn more about yourself, participate in master classes, then join the Anchored ID Collective. It's a really amazing community. We're really able to be there for each other. And it's just really been like such a bright spot of, every single one of my day when like I'm in the Slack community or I'm chatting with one of the members. It's really incredible. And I want to give that to more of you. So friend, if you have any questions about resumes and whatnot, make sure you leave a comment down below, and I will see you next week for the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.